Two GMC owners, both spent $500 on mods. One got a throttle placebo, a hot air intake, and blown shocks. The other got engine protection, fresh fluids, and a diagnostic tool that pays for itself on the first check engine light. Same money. One truck is worse, one truck is better. 3 mods that waste your $500, 4 that multiply it. Here's the difference. Worse number 3, and the mod with the biggest gap between what it promises and what it delivers, is a Throttle Response Controller. Pedal Commander, Sprint Booster, iDRIVE. You've seen the ads, you've seen the YouTube reviews. Instant throttle response, like adding 50 horsepower, transforms the driving experience. The name brand units run 250 to 350. Generic versions on Amazon run 80 to 150. All of them promise the same thing, a faster, more responsive truck. Here's what they actually do. These devices sit between the accelerator pedal and the ECU. They remap the electronic throttle signal so that 50% pedal travel sends 100% throttle opening signal to the engine. That's it. That's the entire technology. The engine makes the exact same horsepower, the exact same torque, the exact same power curve. You're not making more power. You're just electronically mashing the gas pedal harder than your foot actually is. And here's the problem. On Sport Plus mode, the setting every reviewer uses for the "wow, this is amazing" video, the throttle becomes twitchy and borderline uncontrollable at low speed. Parking lots become stressful. Every light throttle input jerks the truck. Towing becomes a nightmare because smooth, gradual throttle application becomes impossible. The truck lurches instead of pulling. Most owners try the aggressive settings for a week, realize it's exhausting to drive, dial it back to the mildest setting, and then wonder why the truck feels exactly like stock. Because it is stock, with a $250 middleman between your foot and the computer. Here's the thing. For the same money, a 270 AFM disabler gives you actual mechanical protection against the most expensive failure mode on the engine. The throttle controller gives you the sensation of faster. The disabler gives you engine insurance. Same budget. One is a placebo. One prevents a $4,000 repair. It doesn't add power. It remaps your foot. For $250, you get the feeling of faster, not actual faster. But this next worst mod is even more deceptive because it promises performance from basic physics that don't work the way the ads claim. Worst number 2? A universal cold air intake kit. Not a brand-specific engineered intake from S&B or Volant designed for your exact truck. The generic Amazon and eBay kits with chrome pipes, cone filters, and a picture of a truck that may or may not be your model. $150 to $350 for a box of chrome tubing and a cotton gauze filter. What they promise? 10 to 15 horsepower. Better throttle response, better fuel economy. The listing has a dyno chart that shows gains. The reviews say, truck feels alive. What they actually deliver on a stock GMV8, 2 to 5 horsepower on a dyno if you're lucky. And on many trucks, these kits produce less power than the factory intake. Here's why. The factory airbox on a GMT 900 and newer Sierra isn't a restriction. GM engineers designed it with a resonance-tuned runner that helps low RPM torque. The factory intake pulls air from a cool air pickup behind the headlight, where the air is cold and dense. Cold air is denser. Dense air makes more power. The factory intake is already a cold air intake. The chrome pipe relocates the filter into the engine bay, inches from the exhaust manifold and the radiator. The air it's breathing is 30 to 50 degrees hotter than what the factory intake pulls. Hot air is less dense. Less dense air makes less power. Your $200 cold air intake is actually a hot air intake. It's the automotive equivalent of buying an air conditioner and pointing it at the furnace. I've seen dyno runs that tell the whole story. Stock airbox on a 5.3, 352 horsepower at the wheels. Same truck with a chrome universal intake, 349. 3 horsepower less than stock. Same truck with a $45 K and N drop-in filter in the factory airbox, 355. 3 horsepower more than stock. The $200 chrome pipe lost power. The $45 filter gained it. The data doesn't care about chrome. Stay with me here. If you want better airflow on a stock truck, keep the factory airbox and drop in a high-flow replacement filter, K&N or AEM dry flow, for $40 to $60. Same airflow improvement. Correct cold air routing, no heat soak, 1/10 the price. $200 to make your truck breathe hotter air. The factory engineers already solved this problem. Now, worst number 1 is the most expensive mistake on this list, because you don't just waste the money once, you waste it twice. Worst number 1? Cheap no-name coilover kits from Amazon and eBay. $200 to $450 for a complete 4-piece coilover suspension kit with adjustable ride height. The listing shows a truck with an aggressive stance. The reviews have 5 stars from people who installed them yesterday. And the price seems unbelievable compared to name-brand shocks that cost $130 to $165 each. The price is unbelievable because the product is unbelievable, in the worst way. These kits have no internal valving worth mentioning. A quality shock absorber has precisely engineered piston and valve assemblies that control compression and rebound at different speeds. These Amazon coilovers have a piston with holes in it. The shock is either fully compressed or fully extended with almost nothing controlling the transition. Ride quality is worse than stock, harsh over small bumps, wallowy over large ones, no control in corners, noise and clunking within the first 5,000 miles as the seals begin to fail. And it gets worse. By 15 to 20,000 miles, the seals blow. Oil leaks. The shock becomes a metal tube with a spring around it, zero damping. You're now driving on springs alone, which means the truck bounces like a basketball over every imperfection and has zero stability in emergency maneuvers. Here's the math that makes this the worst mod on the list. $400 for the kit plus $200 for installation. Within a year, blown. Another $400 to $600 for replacement shocks plus another $200 for installation. You've now spent $1,200 to $1,400 on suspension, and your truck ride's worse than stock. I'm not done yet. For $260 to $330, Bilstein 5100s for the front pair. Monotube design, adjustable ride height. Proven valving that's been tested on hundreds of thousands of GM trucks. The front pair alone transforms the ride, the handling, and the stance. Add the rears later when budget allows. You'll install them once and never think about them again. The cheapest shock you can buy is the most expensive one you'll own. You'll buy it twice. Those are the 3 worst ways to spend $500 on a GMC: a throttle placebo, a hot air intake, and shocks that self-destruct on schedule. But the next 4 are the opposite. Every dollar works. Every mod pays for itself. And the first one literally puts money back in your pocket. Drop a comment. What's the best mod you've done under $500? I want to hear what's working out there, and hit subscribe if you want more real talk on what's worth your money and what isn't. No sponsors, no affiliate junk, just the truth. Let's get into the best. Best number 4, and the only mod on this entire list that literally pays you back, is a quality tonneau cover. Trifold hard or soft cover from Truxedo, Tiger, Gator, or equivalent. $200 to $500 depending on brand and material. Here's what a tonneau cover actually does beyond looking clean. It reduces aerodynamic drag over the open bed. An open truck bed at highway speed creates a turbulent pocket of air that the engine has to push through. It's essentially a parachute behind the cab. A tonneau cover smooths the airflow across the bed and reduces that drag measurably. Real-world fuel economy improvement, up to 1 to 2 miles per gallon at highway speed. That number varies by speed, wind conditions, and bed length, but multiple independent tests confirm the range. At 1.5 miles per gallon improvement over 15,000 miles per year at $3.50 per gallon. That's $250 to $350 saved annually in fuel. The cover pays for itself in year 1. Everything after that is money back in your pocket. And the weather protection is real. I talked to an owner in Oregon who left plywood and power tools in an open bed overnight. Rain hit, $200 in warp material, and a seized drill. A $300 tonneau cover would have prevented every dollar of that damage. Beyond that, the cover keeps snow, dust, and road spray off your cargo in every season. Anything in the bed is hidden, dry, and locked. No more clearing the bed before a rainstorm or worrying about tools walking away in a parking lot. The The Truxedo Low Pro at 370 to 500 is the sweet spot. Low profile, roll-up, weatherproof, and installs in 15 minutes with zero drilling. The Tiger Trifold at 200 to 350 is the budget pick and still gets the job done. The only mod on this list that literally pays you back. Year 1 covers the cost. Every year after is profit. And best number 3 protects something you can't see, but you'll definitely see the damage if you skip it. Best number 3, an oil catch can. An oil separator that captures oil vapor from the PCV system before it recirculates into the intake. On GMV8s with AFM and DFM, the PCV system pushes oil-laden crankcase vapor back into the intake manifold. That vapor coats the intake valves, the throttle body, and on direct injection engines creates hard carbon deposits that build up over tens of thousands of miles. A catch can intercept that vapor in a baffled canister, condenses the oil out, and traps it. Clean air goes back into the intake. The oil stays in the can. Brands: Mishimoto at 150 to 200, UPR at 180 to 260, Elite Engineering at 220 to 300. All install in under an hour with basic hand tools. Here's what sells this mod better than any explanation. Pull the drain on the catch can at 5,000 miles. You'll find 1 to 3 ounces of black, nasty oil that would have gone back into your engine and coated your intake. It's visceral proof that the system works. Every owner who installs one says the same thing. I can't believe this was going back into my engine. Now I know what you're thinking. Is this really necessary? On a 5.3 or 6.2 with DFM, the system cycles more aggressively than AFM, which increases crankcase pressure and blow-by. More blow-by means more oil vapor. More vapor means more deposits. The catch can is more important on DFM engines than it's ever been on any previous generation. $150 to keep oil out of places oil shouldn't be. Drain it once, and you'll never question the purchase. Best number 2 isn't a part at all. It's a service, and it's the single most transformative thing you can do to a used truck. Best number 2, a complete fluid service. Every fluid in the truck changed at once, not an oil change. A full system reset, engine oil, transmission fluid and filter, transfer case fluid, front differential fluid, rear differential fluid, coolant, brake fluid, everything. Here's why this qualifies as a mod and not just maintenance. Because fresh fluid in every system simultaneously transforms how the truck drives. Transmission shifts become crisper because the friction modifiers are fresh. Steering feels tighter because the differential fluid isn't full of metallic particles. Brakes respond quicker because the fluid hasn't absorbed moisture. The engine runs smoother on clean oil. It's the closest thing to a reset button on a used truck. Most used truck buyers change the engine oil and ignore everything else. Transmission fluid at 80,000 miles is brown and losing its protective properties. Differential fluid is dark and contaminated with metal particles from normal gear wear. Transfer case fluid is black. Brake fluid has absorbed moisture and its boiling point has dropped by 15 to 20%, which means under hard braking, the fluid can boil and you temporarily lose pedal pressure. Cost breakdown at an independent shop. Oil change 50 to 80. Transmission drop and filter 150 to 250. Transfer case 30 to 50. Front diff 30 to 50. Rear diff 30 to 50. Coolant flush 80 to 120. Brake fluid flush 80 to 120. Total 350 to 550 for everything. This is the day one protocol on every used truck purchase. Before shocks, before tonneau cover, before anything cosmetic. Fluids first, always. The single best thing you can do for a used truck under $500. Not a mod, a reset. And best number 1, the most impactful combination under $500 that exists in the entire GMC aftermarket. Best number 1, an AFM or DFM disabler plus a Bluetooth OBD2 scanner. Range AFM disabler, 240 to 270. Blue driver or OBD Link MX Plus scanner, 80 to 120. Combined, 320 to 390, under $400 total. The disabler prevents the number 1 most expensive failure mode on GMV8s, 270 versus 3,000 to 550 in lifter repairs. I've covered this in multiple videos. It's the single most cost-effective purchase you can make on a 5.3 or 6.2. Plug it in. All 8 cylinders fire all the time. The lifter cycling that causes collapse stops immediately. Done. But here's why the OBD2 scanner completes the package and makes this the best mod on the list instead of just the disabler alone. The scanner gives you real-time data. Oil pressure, the actual number, not the vague dash gauge that reads normal until you're already in trouble. Transmission temperature, critical when towing, and something no factory gauge shows you. Coolant temperature, engine load, AFM status, confirmation that the disabler is actually working. Freeze frame data that captures exactly what the engine was doing when a code triggered. RPM, temperature, load, fuel trim. So your mechanic doesn't have to guess. And the ability to read and clear diagnostic codes at home instead of paying $100 to $150 for a dealer diagnostic every time a check engine light appears. One trip to the dealer for a Diagnose This Light visit costs more than the scanner itself. Let me be clear about the math. One dealer diagnostic visit costs more than the scanner. One lifter job costs more than 10 disablers. Combined, these two devices give you engine protection plus diagnostic capability for under $400. That's less than a single dealer service visit, less than a single set of those Amazon coilovers that will blow in a year. The disabler protects the engine. The scanner lets you monitor it. Together, they're the foundation of informed ownership, knowing what's happening inside your truck instead of guessing. $350 to prevent a $5,000 engine failure and diagnose every warning light yourself. The best $350 you'll ever spend on a truck. 3 worst, 4 best. Same $500 budget. The worst side gave you a fake throttle response, hot air disguised as cold, and shocks that self-destruct. The best side gave you fuel savings that pay for themselves, clean intake air, fresh fluids in every system, and the engine protection plus diagnostics combo that every GM-V8 needs. Same money. One truck is worse, one truck is better. Now you know which side your $500 belongs on. If you want the comparison with no budget cap, including shocks, exhaust, and the full breakdown, watch 3 worst and 4 best GMC upgrades you can buy. That's the companion video. And for the 5 cheap upgrades most owners don't know exist, ball joints, transmission cooler, differential cover, watch 5 cheap GMC upgrades everyone ignores, gold mines. $500. Spend it right and your truck gets better. Spend it wrong and you've got a chrome pipe and a lesson. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.